couple of quick minutes on hiring for the right fit. And what does that actually mean? We're going to give you 6 steps. So, 6 steps that I think about before I start hiring. When you start thinking about fit, culture fit, alignment, beyond the actual hard skills of doing the job, but a little bit of that as well. So, here's my best practices. I hope they help. First and foremost, before we actually start hiring, we need to sit down at least 6 steps. Biggest one, start with your goals. Especially as a leader or as an early founder, what is your outcome you're trying to get to? Start with the end in mind. What do you want out of this? $100 million business, $100 billion business, lifestyle business. It's not a right or wrong answer, but define that. You cannot convey to your team the expectations if you don't know what you're trying to get to. So first and foremost, where do you want to go? It might evolve and change. That's okay as long as you reconvey that to your team, but at least have a starting point. Next one, determine the characteristics and skills that are required to achieve those goals. If you are looking for X, what gets you there? If you want to build a lifestyle business, what are the types of people that you want to recruit? Are they people who want, for instance, if you're doing a lifestyle business is defined as a business that produces a income that supports your lifestyle. Well, maybe people who want a huge career path progression won't be the best fit for you, or at least understand they're not going to stay forever. So just understand what is it that you need to accomplish your goal. And if you're doing first-time sales hires, you want people who are okay with that ambiguity. Or if you're hiring founding engineers, you want people who can make maybe definitive decisions about things. So understand where you are, what you want to go to, and what is going to be required of those people to help you get there. Then define what culture you want to reinforce. There will be a culture in the business, whether you define it or not. So if you are there to reinforce the culture that you've put out into the organization, write it down and be upfront about that. Tell them in the interview, here's the culture we want to build, here's the culture we have, here's the expectations, here's your role in helping support that culture. There will be one, whether you sit down and do this or not. It just might not be the one you want if you don't. How will you determine the fit against these criteria? So what's your process? This gets into a process piece, right? So what are the steps of your interview process? What are the questions you're going to ask? Who's involved in the interview processes? Where are you sourcing candidates? What does the makeup of the candidate pool look like? Are they recent college grads? Are they experienced people? Are they out of town? Are they remote? Are they local? Like, what are the things you're going to do? And how does that all tie together into the process you use to determine the fit to your cultural requirements, to your skills, all those things, right? Do they need to do a test? Do they need to prove their domain expertise? I don't know, whatever it is, have it written down. Otherwise, you're winging it, which means it's going to be really hard to measure because it'll probably be different every time. What do you truly want from your team members? Are you looking for, here's examples. Are you looking for extra milers? The people who just go the extra mile, who live, eat, and breathe what you're doing. Are you looking for challengers? People who will challenge your preconceived thoughts, challenge your ideas. You want them to come in and give you thoughts. Everybody says hire smart people, want them to do what they want, but not everybody actually wants to do that at every stage of their business, right? They might say, I have a very specific set of requirements. I want people who can execute it. I want people who can take my vision, turn it into what I want in real terms. Just know what you really want from your team. So again, you're feeding back into that criteria loop. And then what are you offering? Is what you're offering aligned to these other 5 things? If you want these five things, does what you're offering match that? You want challengers? Cool. Are you offering an environment where they'll be able to give that feedback? You want super career-driven people? Cool. Is there growth opportunity here? Are you offering ownership, autonomy? Is this a place where people can come and they will not be really managed very much or very heavily, and they get a lot of flexibility around how and when they do their job? Are you offering that? Is that how you want to run your business? Great. But make sure what you're offering and what your expectations are aligned. If you're offering something with incredible pay and benefits, and it has a really high set of requirements, then just marry those 2 things together and be upfront about it. That's okay. Again, you set these 6, but sit down, write them down, and then come back to it every once in a while because your business changes and it evolves over time. So here's 3 examples of what I've seen. I've heard from other founders, CEOs, or executives I've worked with. Some good, some bad, some indifferent here. So think about your alignment. I have an example. I talked to a CEO. He was looking for salespeople who were highly motivated, intrinsic motivation, and they had a desire to go big. Don't stop at 300,000 in comp. Don't stop at 500,000 in comp. Don't stop at 1 million in comp. I want you to just go, 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 go. And so the questions for me were, how are you interviewing for that? What are your questions? What are you asking these people to understand that they are the type of people who are so self-driven that they'll never want to be satisfied? Questions like, tell me about something really hard you did. When was the last marathon you ran, or really difficult experience? Tell me about a time you got up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get on a plane to close a deal and home at midnight. Like, in order to do that, you're probably going to have people who are really dedicated to going above and beyond. And so you should be interviewing for above and beyond. Not that everybody has to go above and beyond, but if that's what is going to be required, maybe look for it. So those are the questions I kind of challenged him on. Another example, executive told me, we want a $10 billion outcome. It is 10 billion is the target. We're going to build a $10 billion company. So I asked this founder, I said, so it's like top 50. You want to be one of the top 50 SaaS companies, as a software company, in the world, roughly, more or less, because that's what you just said. So you need to assemble one of the top 50 teams. Is your team top 50? Or how are you going to attract those top 50 organizations? Or how are you going to teach your team to perform at the top 50 level? And I don't mean top 50 in your town, your state, I mean in the planet. And what's going to be required for such an uncommon outcome? In reality, really what they've done is they've built an organization that was really more about, not being a challenging organization, not being a kind of driven organization. It was mission driven, but not execution driven. It kind of petered out around a couple $1 million in sales, unfortunately, $1 million of revenue, because the $10 billion outcome didn't align to the requirements that they set, right? So there's a misalignment there. Another one, this is a sense of real alignment, actually, was a business I was a part of where they built a culture around self-sacrifice, challenge, learning. They set up really strict standards of execution, really high quality standards. Everybody's expectation of their work product was super high. And the cultural expectation of the business was that everybody held each other accountable to that. And everybody signed up for that. They were really upfront about it. It wasn't for everybody. Not everybody wanted to be a part of it or wanted to stay a part of it. But the people who did really enjoyed it. And they had a good outcome as they set up their expectations of what a good outcome would look like. So these aren't necessarily right or wrong, although I could say misalignment is probably always less than ideal. But I think they highlight the importance of thinking through what is the outcome that you get from these 6, right? So if you haven't gone through these 6, sit down, take a screenshot of these, write them down, think about it. I'd be happy to chat with you about it if you're interested. Something I'm really interested in as well. But think about where you want to go, work back from there, take those steps, and think about how that ultimately aligns your team. And good luck. Thanks, y'all.